visualize just what we mean. Innovation shaping our fate. Together we celebrate. From data to display, community lights the way. Liquid galaxy, we see it all. Technological marvel standing tall. Liquid galaxy, together we thrive. In the heart of the tech beehive. The world where we glide, from the peaks to the seas, exploring with ease.
So, good afternoon, Deniz. How are you, my friend?
Good afternoon, Andreo. I'm fine. How are you?
Or we don't have to say good night because it's totally dark outside. I imagine the same in München, Germany.
That's true. Sun sets at 4:30 or something.
And what about the temperature there?
Today it's -2. It was -2. It's just getting cold right now. Like
-2. So you're gonna get ice tonight? Maybe.
There would be ice, but there was a chef at the office today, and he claimed if I didn't finish my dessert, there would be no snow in Germany. And when there is no snow in Germany, Germans are very sad.
Because they need snow just to celebrate Christmas.
Yes. Ja, stimmt.
Nice. So I just check the sound. I think sound is okay. And allow me 1 second because I need to start also the Discord stage. This is something different. Starting. Deniz, Yüksel on stage. Notificando. We are open, and then I'm gonna share my screen, this one, and we are ready. So guys in the chat and anyone in the YouTube, please say.
Should I also open the stream video to answer questions, or you will read them?
No, I will do that.
Okay.
I will do that.
Okay.
So I'm saying the stage in Discord is being populated, and I'm trying to see if we are okay. Thank you, Deepen. Okay, thank you to give me feedback on this. You know that sound is always a mess, at least for me.
Always.
At some point I will learn. I don't know where, when.
It's okay.
So, Deepen, Vinayak, why? And they say, Tanishk, they say we are audible. So, very good. So, guys, remember, reserve your questions for the end of the streaming. Deniz is going to be something like 30 minutes talking, presenting to you his experience. Professional experience today is a little bit different streaming today. It's not as much as technical, but more as soft skills. And then I'm not going to introduce yourself because I think you're going to do on the first slide, Deniz. So just to say,
feel free.
Just to say a couple of things. You started doing things with the Liquid Galaxy in 2017? 18. So 7 years now, not bad. And this year you are starting as mentor. And we'll be co-mentoring with our colleague Oscar Carrasco. Hopefully, because nobody knows if we are in GSOC or not. That's the lottery. So you have a logo a little bit, may look at, no, it's better. So Deniz, the stage is yours. I will be there with the camera and the mic off. And at the end, I will help you answering the question of the attendees.
All right.
You can go.
Thank you, Andreo. Hello, everyone. I assume most of the audience is the student candidates for GSOC, and I thought it would be a nice idea to share my initial experiences from the industry. And this is the enterprise edition. It's not the startup. It's the like big company corporate style of software engineering work. So um, by no means this presentation like it doesn't contain like any scientific data apart from some psychological experiments at the end, and it's not a handbook for best practices in software engineering because I'm also fresh engineer. So it's very much worth sharing how I met Andrew. On the right hand side of the screen, you see my transcript in university. And to be more specific, I actually failed a course in 2017-2018 fall semester, which was Fundamental Structures of Computer Science 1. And I got the grade FZ, which means you cannot even have the right to take a final exam. But luckily, I was engaged in extracurricular activities as well. And this was a life lesson to me that school and academics and grades, they don't determine everything. Afterwards, I met Andrew actually. We met in Ankara when I was studying, and I was also collaborating with IEEE student branch in my local area. So we organized events, and there were speakers from many countries, many companies, and Andrew talked about Google technologies. And this is our photo from my favorite restaurant in Ankara when I was a little child. Afterwards, this led to me going to Yeda because I failed that course, so I couldn't do the compulsory internship. So that summer, I ended up in Yeda, spending time in the laboratories with Andrew and the team, and we worked on Liquid Galaxy for Education project. And this was a moment shared with Oscar when we were in the radio in Tenerife, that I tried to also present our project with my 3-week limited knowledge of Spanish. So let's talk about me a bit, briefly about me, like what I'm going to say today. I studied my bachelor's degree as a computer engineer, computer science in Ankara, Bilkent University. I already mentioned I was a collaborator in IEEE student branch. Then after my bachelor's degree, I decided to continue the academics for master's. So I applied to various universities around the world, and I chose Technical University of Munich, which is in Germany. While I was working, it's a culture in Germany that students are doing Werkstudent, which means working student. So I started as a consultant in a consultancy company called Adesso, and there I worked with a bank called Rabobank, which is a agriculture bank in Netherlands. Afterwards, I started at Sixth as a working student in 2022 January, and then I finished my master's degree. I liked Sixth. They also liked me, so we decided to sign a contract, and now I am a junior software engineer since August 2024. The sizes of the logos on the screen depict how much I love those companies or associations or universities. So I actually gave the speech in Spain last week, and Andrea told me, hey, like you should give this soft skills talk in the Liquid Galaxy project as well, and say, why not? So this was a video I took from 6th Barcelona airport, and I really like that marketing. They just put the car in the middle, and you just know where to get it because it's so bright and orange. So briefly about 6th, it was founded in 1912 with only 3 cars, and it survived 2 world wars. And in both world wars, the fleet was confiscated by the German army. Today, it's one of the top rental companies in the world. If you go to internet and if you want to rent a car, probably your parents know about these companies more. and the company almost has 150,000 fleet size, excluding franchises. And this is a public data from 2023. I cannot share the current ones. And it has nearly 8,000, nearly 9,000 employees worldwide. And we have offices in Germany, Portugal, Kiev, and Bangalore. I had emojis for that, but for some reason it gives the country code. No worries. And we have actually many engineers and developers working together on a product. There are multiple products, but for the sake of this presentation, I'm going to focus on the main reservation funnel, which I'm part of. So let's take a look. I assume all of you until now either vibe coded something like this, or you are doing, or you did a project like this in your studies. So you search for a branch, and customer so looks for a branch, and we are fetching offers. We offer different cars. We have a trip, date, and time. Then we offer people with packages and charges. We sell extras, add-ons, and finally there's the booking screen. And when you click that orange button, congratulations, your reservation is confirmed. So from here, it looks very simple and actually complete. You don't need to add anything to this so that it works. But what if millions of people are using this application at the same time? And what if you need to have changes? What if your company decides, oh, we want to add a new feature and now we want to sell some charges like another company is doing because it generates more revenue? How are you going to deal with change? And more importantly, maybe even than change, there's the maintenance aspect, and you can find bugs everywhere. And this application needs to be available for customers because it's generating revenue and companies live with money. So in a nutshell, what I do in this big company as a little junior engineer, I understand requirements by the business. Then I read code written by other people. I understand code written by other people. Reading something and understanding something is totally different. One is the precondition for the other one. And then finally, after everything, after I do all these 3 steps, I can finally write my code. And one day other people will have to read this. So, oh yeah, and the most important part, I must not blow up the entire product. So if you know this game called Jenga, it's exactly like that. You see a block, you understand the current situation of the tower, how it stands, the dynamics, and then you put the brick, the block on the top, and you have to make sure the tower will not fall down. That's basically my job. And here is a snippet of some code that I cannot share the author, but when this person wrote this code, I didn't finish high school. So that's the way. And most of my time is allocated in the red rectangle that you're seeing right now. So what I expected was when I was in university, I would write a lot of code in a company. However, these 3 bullet points actually take more time. And today I couldn't even write code. Today is a really good example because today I was at work. I had to understand some business logic. But this business logic was written by another colleague of mine, but a production issue came up. So I have to understand the code now. I have to understand the business logic, even though it's complex. But unfortunately, everyone is on vacation because it's Christmas time. So it is not only about development. It's also about understanding and maintaining an existing system. because real people with real devices use your application simultaneously all around the world. Fortunately, you are not alone because you are part of a team. Unfortunately, today I was alone. Um, but even when you're not alone, you are part of a team, and you know that in a company like that, there are many, many more teams working in parallel, working on repositories, projects together. So it's like one Jenga for one team, another Jenga for other team, and Jengas, 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 Jengas everywhere. So is this how you imagined? I don't know, but it looks fun, right? So let's talk about some teamwork aspects. How do teams work? Nowadays, it's Agile, Scrum, Kanban, and Agile dictates, Agile says that not everything should be written in stone, whereas Scrum has a very definite plan, and somehow people claim that they work well together. Kanban is another methodology. You have a board, and tasks are just flowing from to do, in progress, code review, on stage, and to production. Every team can have their own interpretations. Back in the days, it was waterfall, where a project is concretely defined, and requirements engineering is made. Then you need to do analysis, you need to do estimations. And in defense industry, this waterfall method is still being used because in waterfall methodologies, you know what you will build in the end of the year or in the end of even 5 years. But in agile, the product changes constantly because it's very much focused on change and revenue. So I cannot say I'm a very fan of agile, but today that's how we do it. It contains cycles of 2 weeks. It's the most popular way. It's called sprints. But as I said, every team needs to find the right balance and processes between processes and productivity. And I really don't like drowning in processes. And even the founder of Sixt, one of the founders of Sixt, the latest CEOs, the inherit person, the Eric Sixt, he said, "Oh, bureaucracy is our biggest enemy," and he is German. So what engineers do? I wanted to insert this photo on the right so that we are focusing in the enterprise company aspect, because you have to be somewhat disciplined, and you are in a big company where every little process you need to ask some permissions, you need to wait for testing. But whereas in startups you have you are just fighting, firefighting, and in government, like, it's just the fun part, but you just invent something and they will not like it anyway. So you have to understand requirements and understand the code base and implement the code. Then we create pull requests, and our team members, they review our code so that somebody else looks at your code and says, "Oh, this is good," or "This needs to be changed." We have the QAs that do tests, and then we can deploy to production finally. So this is basically the life cycle of a ticket as well. And I actually like to focus on the requirement engineering part in the talk, because this is not what we really learn in school, even though professors stress it a lot. In my time as well, we somewhat don't think that they are right, but they are definitely right. So they also told us that usually stakeholders will know what they want. We will have clear summaries, acceptance criteria in the tickets, and clear instructions to complete the ticket. And then you just pick your coffee and then start implementing your ticket. But that is not always the reality. It can happen that you are just in the way of progress and some requirements changes and you're updating Jira tickets all day. So the requirements can definitely bounce back and forth. And this happens to me a lot, maybe because I'm a junior engineer. I realized that a ticket is more challenging after I start implementing it. Because you look at the code base, you think it's simple, but usually it's more complicated than you imagine, and you can break stuff very easily. You also collaborate with different people with different backgrounds. It's an international company, as I said, and people with different professions. So you need to understand what the stakeholder is saying to you, because they're maybe non-technical, and you need to describe them in a way that they will understand. So confusing people is never cool. And there is this type of engineer that they only do what's written in the ticket, and then they will just create another ticket and be happy. But that's not what I recommend, and that's not what I do. Instead of completing a ticket like a machine, because AI is already able to do that partially. It's better to create meaningful and valuable work, so the stakeholders will not come back asking for the same requirements you couldn't implement in previous tickets. And my tips for requirements, I usually take a step back when I see a ticket and I read all of the tickets. And first I ask myself, do I really need to write code to solve this problem? Sometimes I don't have to, and I discuss it with my product owner or the stakeholders, and I don't actively try not to write code, but I keep in mind that every code I introduce to my system, to my code base, is not an asset, it's a liability. And I will be liable for that, and everybody will be liable for that. And it's a complexity that we have to maintain. The second question, if there is already a code that's doing the same thing, so dry, do not repeat yourself principles. And as I said, think for the greater good. Sometimes, not sometimes, but if you're programming something in the front end, you can imagine yourself as a customer, or if you're programming something in the back end, you can imagine yourself as a front end engineer that you want nice, beautiful data representations. So sometimes you also need to propose the stakeholders with the solution they need, not what they want, because people might not know what they want. So you need to take the additional mile and do the requirement engineering in a way that you will give them what they need. And instead of, as Agile Manifesto says, that's something I like, instead of focusing on processes, focus on the people and person directly. So if you go to the office and if you see this person, just talk to them, just ask what they need. And the most important thing, and I do this, I have done this my whole life, and I never regretted it for a second. Never be afraid of looking stupid and ask questions until you are very sure that you understand. Because when you understand the requirement, when you understand the code base, it helps you to implement your changes maybe in 10 minutes in your mind, and the rest is just writing down the code, like you are giving instructions to a stupid machine. So I cannot stress this enough. As I said, communication is key, and we have, let's say, I categorize it as 4 different types of communications in my daily work. We have written communications between colleagues, spoken communications between colleagues, documentation between colleagues. Somebody might not be working in the company anymore, so it's really important to read documentations and write documentations. Today, AI can help with that as well. And UML diagrams. Most of us didn't like UML diagrams in university, but the truth is, when you are working at a project, a very big project with complex business requirements, you don't want to read code immediately. Even though a good written code is like a documentation, you want to see the bigger picture and then understand the small bits and pieces later on. And A good example where we might have chosen a spoken communication instead of written one is this little screenshot I had. So I asked them a question, and this team was working in India. So it's 4.5 hours ahead of Europe. And we have requirements bouncing back and forth. It's getting longer, and it had 113 replies. And after this whole thing, I just took a step back and I asked myself, wow, I was very stupid not to call this person directly, because this could have been a call instead. We could have saved time. Implement. This is what you're hyped about, most probably. And in the meme that you see on the right, you think, I hope you think like that, because that's your passion after all. You have the hoodie, you have the glasses, you're hacking stuff. That can be your life as well, but the most popular way now, the most frequent way in an enterprise, in a company, is you actually sit and think for long hours. But the main thing I would like to stress about the implement part is, again, that someday somebody will read your code. So you need to empathize with people as well. Not only write some garbage code that, oh, it's doing the work, it's all right. No, that's not how you should do it. And you should give love to your code, give love to whatever you're doing in life. And don't solve imaginary problems. There is a saying in software engineering, I don't know who that is, but we say premature optimization is the source of all evil. And if you want to solve a problem and look smart about it, that doesn't make you look smarter. So one day I was implementing a very complex recursive algorithm in the company. I was working with some charge codes, some complicated like trees. And I was like, oh, I can really fit this logic into a acyclic graph, acyclic directed graph. And I'm like, how can I do this? I find my solution. I present it to my manager. I feel so smart. I was like, hey, I did something like this, like it can really perform well. And what he said was, dude, it's not the thing for smart algorithms. You can have Stack Overflows, and most of the time, people would like to understand the code, so they will not understand my complex graph implementation. They just want to see hard-coded charge codes. If this, then that. If this, then that. Or maybe a switch case. Maybe a strategy design pattern. I don't know. But instead of a smart algorithm, sometimes you just go ahead and hard code stuff, and you make your business logic very visible. We have some theories now in software engineering, and this is connected to the implementation part, and it's called broken windows. There is a research by Philip Zimbardo made in Stanford University in the 80s, I believe. And it states that we are prone to break more windows if we see more broken windows. So they leave a car in Palo Alto, a very rich neighborhood, and nobody touches the car. But then they leave the same car after a week, and they break the window of the car and take some parts off so that the car looks broken, and it's not perfect. It's not functional. So just in a week, they realize majority of the car is vandalized and most of its parts are stolen. So it's a sign that humans are prone to minor disorder and neglect, which can cause cascading effects. This also applies in software engineering. When you see some shitty code, you are inclined to introduce your shitty code afterwards, and you will say, oh, you know what, this code is not good anyway, so let me just boom, like this flex tape meme, and our goal should be to safeguard our code quality. As young engineers, as senior engineers, as junior as engineers, we need to make sure that our code is staying maintainable, and we are questioning each other continuously, even though we trust each other. And our primary goal should be not to break in the first place and repair the broken windows whenever we see them. Another law in software engineering that I really like, it's not like a construction site, guys and gals. So most of the time, organizations in management, they have poor understanding of engineering aspects. So they will think, oh, if our project is not going to meet the deadlines, we should add more manpower. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, because when you add more manpower, the engineers, they will have to learn the code base. They will have to understand requirements. They will have to adapt to the team, because software engineering is a social activity. Programming is a social activity. And this will actually delay the delivery date of the project. So just as I said, it's not like construction work. This exactly reflects what I mean. You're drowning, and the corporate just adds more developers, and you're dead. Another saying I like, I saw this question on Quora, and I really liked it. If a woman can make one baby in 9 months, how many months does it take 9 women to make one baby? Of course, you know the answer, but it's still a funny laugh. So the next part, today you will see in every presentation something about AI and large language models, next word predictors, LLMs. It is not a shame to use LLMs. It's actually really cool to use AI and LLMs. Imagine like you used to go to some place with horses in the past, but now there are cars, there are planes, there are trains. Of course, you need to update yourself. There is this saying that AI will take the jobs of software engineers. I don't believe in that. AI might take the software engineer jobs that you are just doing what the ticket says, you're not putting value, you're not understanding people, you're not putting effort, and you are not doing what a human needs to do, because humans are still very like LLMs are not that smart. They just memorize some big context, and they will give you the most probable word. But again, even today I use every day, because they are great at summarizing content. They are great at understanding business logic, although you cannot feed an entire project and expect it to understand, because token size is around 2,000 to 200,000. And you can give a little function to it. What I do usually is I pretend that I'm a 5-year-old child. So I tell the LLM, I prompt the LLM, hey, there is this function. Please tell me like I'm a 5-year-old kid. Illustrating toys. There is no shame in doing that. As long as you are using LLMs as a learning tool, then it will only make your life better. And it works like a charm in some places. But there is the issue of vibe coding. Very inefficient but entertaining coding, as some people refer. And on the right side, you see the meme, obviously. So you can just decide not to think about your code, decide to turn off your brain, decide to become stupid person, and then you will say, "Oh, please fix my code cursor," and then you will go 21 miles. Whereas you will go less miles. Actually, you will spend less effort, but you will spend more concentrated and brain work if you understand how things actually work. And also there is this AI bubble in engineering, because there is a money that is not real. So back in the days, we used Stack Overflow. I mean, maybe even like I sometimes use Stack Overflow still, because some questions I would like to see what other people say about it instead of trusting the AI. And these are just memes that, what's up with your PR? Oh, I was just wipe coding 38,000 line of code removals. And this is also getting out of hand, because now the real difficulty in engineering, not development. Software engineering and software development are different. So the real difficulty in software engineering is shifting to code review and to test and to give architectural design decisions. Because I can also admit, the average LLM is writing better code than an average software engineer now. It's writing better code than me, for sure. And I told you I made my master's degree in TUM, and I also took machine learning courses, and we really worked so much on PyTorch, model evaluation, MLOps, scikit-learn, but nowadays it's more like it's free, it's Copilot, game changer, GPT-5, like this all stupid buzzwords. What I'm afraid about AI bubble in management is even worse. So if you have a requirement and you want to make the code finally live and you couldn't solve your problem, then they will ask you, have you tried using AI? And every CEO in 2025 probably is doing this to their software engineers. And of course, the AI bubble in management refers to this, you get a budget, you must have an idea. I just said AI, and then they gave me all the money. Sometimes I see this is also catastrophic, but what I believe is if engineers and the code base from engineers, it can be isolated, and the code base from non-technical people, they can develop some internal tools, which is not possible to corrupt the already existing product. Of course, people can wipe code. I have nothing against that. So software engineering, at the end, it's human after all. We are still there, and we have to be there, but we have to be better. We have to know everything better. We have to understand people better, because machines will not be able to do that. And sometimes we make mistakes. LLMs also make mistakes, and sometimes not everything is a lesson. We just fail. And as humans, we need to feel attached to what we are doing and find meaning in what we are doing. And as a fine example, I would like to share some photos of my own in this regard. So I play in a band in Munich, and these are my colleagues and my manager. They visited me in my concert, and they had T-shirts on them that had my face on them. But when we were taking the photo, I didn't see them because I'm in the back. And I was very happy and shocked at the same time that people really had the effort to do that and came. So it's really important to feel that you're attached with your teammates and colleagues as well. And sometimes you can have a scrum master that makes you play games, some teammates, some team working activities, some artificial thing that people claim, that agile specialists claim that they will make you more productive. But in my opinion, these emotions and this attachment to people, it makes you more productive. We even share offensive memes, and that's fine because that's humor, and humor brings people together. We also make Friday memes every Friday for weekends. Of course, I cannot share the memes that I make for other colleagues, so I can only share the memes that were made for me to make fun of me, basically, and to have a little laugh. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening to me. I hope I could present you the expectations versus reality in software engineering as a junior engineer. Thank you.
Thank you, Deniz. Thank you very much. you can stop sharing your lovely guys
Minions.
minions. Okay, so some people is starting to write on the Discord chat. Maybe some will say something at the YouTube. Let me ask you a question. More than asking a question, comment on your AI slides. Just remembering what is the approach we have at the Liquid Galaxy project regarding this tsunami, the AI tsunami. Everything for you contributors, remember that everything is actually wrote in our main post for GSOC 2026. And to make it brief, we allow the use of the AI, both in the preparation of the proposal, when it's time, it's still no, and also during the code session. But, be serious. Everything you do with the AI, you have to be able to demonstrate that you understand what the code is for, just as Deniz has explained to you a few minutes ago. So it's impossible to go against this AI thing. And even more, lots of you are actually studying master thesis or whatever end of career projects, or in every country it's named in a different way. Using AI because it's the actual hype, the wave we have to ride. But be careful, because we need you to understand what you do. And if we catch you using that kind of technologies without knowing what your code is, you will have a problem, and it can be a serious problem. Okay, so let's start, Deniz.
And actually,
Yes.
there is one thing I need to mention, because like when I generate code with AI, it is so obvious that AI wrote it.
Totally.
Yes, and it writes a lot of code, so you
yeah.
need to also optimize it.
Since the starting, we have a phrase that, being, I will say, all guys in the industry, we catch AI at 500 kilometers before. So, I mean, at this time, it's so easy. So let's go for the questions. Deepen, what are the best practices to communicate clearly in the team while staying respectful and not annoying others?
That's a very nice question. I have this problem every day nearly, that maybe I'm deploying something to stage branch, and then the QA can claim maybe I did something wrong or it's broken. So what I usually do is I try to identify the problem. And I also trust in my colleagues that if I feel something, I will let them know. Otherwise, keeping it in is not going to be it's going to be the short-term solution. But overall, I concentrate on what I'm doing at best, and then I bring the people together. I can invite them to a call. I can create a Slack thread for how many people, whatever we need, and then I say, guys, gals, I don't understand this problem. I don't understand this requirement. Please tell me. And as I said, asking questions until you understand everything crystal clear, that is very important, and you shouldn't be ashamed of doing it. Because when you also ask questions, you are probably asking a question that another person would ask, but they're ashamed of asking. Because they're like, oh, no, they cannot think I don't know it,
Don't be shy.
Don't be
Shyness
shy.
will bring you nowhere.
And trust your colleagues, I would say this. Trust people.
Of course, that's right. So, Neo, should we use LLMs for requirements analysis, since it seems to invent its own requirements, or should we avoid AI in requirement analysis stage?
That's a very good question. I use AI in requirements, actually. If the requirement is written in a ticket, then you can discuss it with AI, what it says, what it means. But pre-requirements, if like before these requirements were written on the ticket, it's always good to check with the stakeholder or your product owner. Even your product owner, they might have understood it incorrect. But if I'm going to pick a category for AI usage, it's either code generation or requirements engineering. I would pick requirements engineering because you give it a context and you ask to summarize it. And as long as you don't generate new things, I think requirements engineering with LLM is actually very powerful. So I would go for that.
Okay. If you guys require a little bit more explanation from Deniz, just ask. Go.
Also, for code generation, I also do code generation. However, it requires an entire different presentation for me because it's much like babysitting. Because baby is walking, you need to hold baby's hand and you need to teach her the words that he or she would say. But LLMs are so wild. If you just tell them to fix your problems, it will create catastrophe. So you need to be very, very specific. And every time you have doing a requirement or you are code generating, you need to start with a new context all the time and be very specific. Yeah.
Good. Vinayak, as an individual developer, which software development model should I choose for working on projects like Waterfall, Agile, or something else, and why?
That would depend totally on your business model and value proposition matrices. If you want, like we can talk later about it. The person who asked this question, you can give them my emails because it's a very like open-ended question. I would say.
I'm pretty sure you are now on Discord of the Liquid Galaxy.
Oh no, I'm not.
But you have to. As a future mentor.
So we can chat from there.
Join the Discord. I don't like to give your personal email address to nobody till you're a mentor. That's the regulation we do. And this was Vinayak. So remember Vinayak.
Yeah.
I will pass you the nickname. And when you join the Discord, you can communicate with him. As a beginner, another question from Abhi. As a beginner, what's one habit we should build early so our code don't become hard to maintain later?
That's a very good question, and the answer is I don't know. Because when I was learning software engineering, we did it the hard way. There were no LLMs, and I remember we had a shell interpreter in C. We wrote a shell interpreter and it was crazy. I remember spending like nights, weeks on that so that it could work. But now it's not like that. But I'm sure that new students, as humans are also developing, we will find the way to learn. And that's also a question to me. Because I need to be senior one day. I need to understand software architecture. I need to be able to give architectural decisions and give independent decisions regarding software engineering. So that is something maybe we will learn together.
Okay. Bumi says, in real projects, what parts of coding do you think AI helps the most with?
In real projects, what parts of AI is helping most? For me, if there's a spaghetti code, it helps me to understand what the code is doing because it's better than humans. As I said, I prompt the AI to tell me like I'm a 5-year-old kid with toy cars. And then it does a pretty good job actually. Depending on the model, actually, I use Cloud for 4.5 thinking version, but I think Opus is better now. But it costs a lot of tokens, so I don't use that one. But I think it depends. It depends on what you're doing and how much you expect AI to do some things for you. Because at the end, you are still the main engineer and babysitter behind it.
And also, we said that Bumi was at the other day meet, and I remember she's still a couple of 3 years ahead before going out of the university. And sadly, I would say this is going to change almost every year. So the technology is evolving at a terrible speed. No one knows. Just we can say today, not tomorrow, not past tomorrow. So let's see.
It will be obsolete.
It will, well,
it will be obsolete in some
it
points.
may be really obsolete. So so let's remember the presentation our colleague Oscar did the other day here in the event we have in present, that MCP, the S means for security.
For security.
So MCP was nowhere 6 months ago. It didn't exist, and suddenly is the magic to join LLMs, and that's not exactly right. So things change a lot and fast.
To add something to the question, I also use LLMs to like generate table-driven tests, like unit tests, but not complicated integration tests, because you can always have a false sense of security with integration tests. That's what I feel, and I don't want my code to tell me, oh, everything is green, everything is passing. No, I wouldn't want to do that. Instead, I would write simple unit tests with simple scenarios like mapping, so I have coverage and I also know what I'm doing. So yeah, sometimes AI generates thousands line of unit code, but unit test code, it should not be the way, I think.
Another question is, what should a second, third year student focus on more, DCA, projects, or internships?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. What should a second or third year student focus on more, DSA, projects, or internships?
What are DSA projects?
To be true, I'm not sure also, but let's ask A. There is no name, it's only A, that he explains what this DSA is. Maybe A is writing. Wait for a second. Come on, A, you can do it, and you can change your name and say something instead. A dot dot dot. That's crazy Discord names. Data structures analysis. Yeah.
But are they? I think people are also using the YouTube chat, because I sent them the link. Some of my acquaintances and colleagues. Did you check?
Nobody's making questions at the YouTube chat. Okay. I have it on my left.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to deal with many screens, and I don't remember what DSA means. So again, what should a second or third year student focus on more? DSA, data structures and analysis.
Okay.
Projects or internships?
I'm not working with data science, data structures at all. Like as I told you in my story, I tried to fit in my charges logic to a cyclic directed graph, but we had to program the business logic with constants and variables. But this is my case. So it always depends. If you ask someone that is working in like Fraunhofer Institute of like Technology and Research, maybe they'll claim something else. Even at sixth, if you talk to a data scientist, because of course we have a data science department, you can get a different answer. But I'm a backend software engineer, and most of the times when you're working in a company that has products and works for customers, then you are delivering and writing binary trees, red black trees. It's not the way we do it. We use libraries that do these faster things. So yeah.
Now we have a question from the YouTube chat. But I think it's not one of your friends, because this is an Indian name. Raksha, I know that person already. Which is more difficult, build the business logics or the coding part? For issues.
That's a very nice question. For my case, understanding, like I'm not building any business logic yet. If I have I took part in like a business logic project for Spanish police once at sixth with my mentor at the time, and sometimes you design the business logic, you start implementing, and you realize like this might not work as intended. So I think it's a process that goes hand in hand. If you are not experienced like me, but if you are like a senior god engineer, like you know what you're doing, you design it that way, and then hopefully it will happen the way you imagine. But business logic, understanding business logic is what I do, because most of the things you need to understand and read. Your contribution would be minimal in a corporate. Yeah.
Okay, what is your opinion about automation and using MCPs, where the S, it means security?
In Sixth, we are also doing it. We can use MCP servers, and automation is always good for the tasks that like humans should not repetitively do. So I actually made a presentation, an internal presentation for my team about some migration topic. So we had some internal framework for RPC calls, and we need to migrate. And migrations are always automated, or the tasks that you can automate. Like you migrate one server, you create a documentation. Hey, I migrated this microservice. So other people, you can look at it and do that. Instead of writing by hand, I did it with cursor, and I applied it to maybe 10 repositories in my team, and I showed them how I did it, so they can also use these cursor rules that I generate for themselves, and then they prompt and hit enter, and boom, it already starts doing it. For MCP servers, as Andreo said, it can be vulnerable in security. And if you have time to ask questions about MCP, I would also ask the same question to Oscar, because he's a cybersecurity specialist, and is he in the
You
Discord?
can do it on the Discord. I think Oscar is there. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Mentors are still not hanging too much at the Discord because they are pretty busy. We have Pedan, Josh, and some other Indian mentors, but not the other from other places of the world. So let's
internal tools. We can use MCP. I would say internal tool implementation.
Internal tools, you mean not exposed to the internet?
I wouldn't want to do that yet.
Just in case. How should we use AI to work faster on real projects without losing our own ability to think and solve problems? This is a question from Z. Kras Yumang.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Sure. How shall we use AI to work faster on real projects without losing our own ability to think and solve problems? So what's the way to become not stupid using the AI?
This is a very good question. And this is a question I asked my manager because there is always the pressure from business that you need to deliver. And you need to code. And now there are some tasks that I can do, like normally it would take 2 weeks for me, and now I'm doing it in like 2 hours. Of course, it's riskier, like to generate AI code. It's less risky if you know how to do it, but the business likes it more when you deliver fast because you are generating revenue. But at the same time, you need to take a step back and protect yourself. So I'm also in the same dilemma in business and delivering versus learning, because scientifically, I think if you spend more time on a topic to understand it, your neuron firings are like stronger and they happen more frequently. So it's the synapses between them. So what I did for myself, I got myself this book, which is the book of my professor in TUM, Martin Kleppmann. It's Designing Data-Intensive Applications, and I started reading it. And in order to be like a senior engineer, in order to not become a senior, it's not about the title. It's about what you know, what you understand, and how you can impact. So this is gonna be my evenings and weekends, because at work I feel like I'm delivering a lot more, but I'm thinking less. So this is a very good question.
Okay. Aniket says, how was the transition from a contributor to get it into the real industry like? So actually, I'm going to answer this. Aniket, Deniz was not a GSOC contributor, was a contributor to the Liquid Galaxy because he was for 1 month at the Liquid Galaxy headquarters in Lleida. So he was not, but again, today's presentation has been totally about their own experience going from a student to the real job. So rewatch the stream, and it will be the answer.
Something to add to the previous question. The stupidity aspect is like, I'm more intelligent now when I'm talking and understanding people and code base, but maybe I'm weaker in writing code now. So you always have to like think and create creative solutions, because as machines evolve, as science evolve, we can dedicate some part to the automation, to the LLMs and problem solving, but you are the problem solver at the end. So yeah, as I said, I have the same dilemma, but you can lose something and you can gain another skill, I think.
That's going to answer the last question in the YouTube. Sahana is writing something like, how does business and coding go hand by hand? I mean,
that's a very good question. So business requirements, they become your code at the end. That's what I can say. And if you write your code in a good way, then your code will not generate any more requirements for you as bugs. But if you write shitty code, then maybe you need to change also some logic in your code. And you shouldn't just add like patches to your code so that it works, but it needs to be maintainable. And other engineers also need to understand. So that's why I said hand in hand, because if you write shitty code, if you don't understand requirements, you produce something, it's there, but you cannot remove it usually, because there will always be next tickets, next requirements, and when you do it, you need to do it. It needs to work. You shouldn't over-engineer, but it should be simple and easy to understand.
Totally last question, and I clearly don't understand it, from Raksha. You tell us how the product-based business depend on the coding skills.
Can you read the question again?
But I don't have to repeat because you don't understand me or you don't listen to me. What's the question we have?
No, I don't understand. I didn't understand the syntax of the question. Like I need you to read.
Again, I didn't understand also the question. You tell us how the product-based business depend on the coding skills.
Utilize.
I didn't say that.
Oh.
I didn't say that.
Can you paste the question in the thread here, or?
No, please don't do that. We cannot do nothing in the meet.
No. Oh, okay.
No. For fiscal
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
I'm gonna answer this one because we have to go to end now. It's 8 p.m. here in Europe. Sahana says, for first contributions, should students focus more on fixing issues or understanding how the system works end to end? If you, Sahana, are talking about the Liquid Galaxy, of course, you have to focus. As we said, we are not a regular organization. We don't do that kind of peer stuff. We work on projects. So all the pre-requirements are already written on the liquidgalaxy.au website. And go there, read what you have to do. And the answer is understanding how the system works end to end. You don't have to make any fixing issues. There are a couple of students working in issues because they ask specifically for something, but usually this is not our way. We ask you to do some pre-requirements. We have actually the Liquid Galaxy score, a big sheet, Google Sheet, full of data, and you all have to be focused now on this thing. So let's gonna end here. There are no more questions in both things. What kind of? Okay, that's a personal one. Okay, let's read the latest one. What kind of contributors you expect to mentor? Deniz?
What kind of
mentor?
To co-mentor? I because I have this like more industrial like software engineering background rather than the development. I would expect that the person develops an app that is usable, that is easy for me to understand, and I will feel like the customer. And I will also comment on designs. I think we cannot ask students to write unit tests, or like, is there a requirement like that? I would totally ask for at least 70% of test coverage.
You can do that. I mean, it's a matter of the mentor and the contributor.
Yeah, I would.
The way you go into the project is up to you. Then I and the other administrators go on top of the mentorship.
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. At the end, I would like the student to come up with a usable application.
Exactly. That's the perfect. That's the perfect initiative. Perfect. Yeah. So still to have more questions. Go fast.
Yeah.
But
sure.
no, but I want to leave because it's 8 p.m. and we agree always on the 1 hour at maximum. What kind of problems exist in open source work that usually don't exist inside companies, and vice versa?
So there is a statistics that one of our friends shared in his speech, Merul. So it was a statistics from 2024 that the number of PRs increased by like it's 6 times more PRs in 2024 than 2023, and every PR size is average 220% more. Which means there is a lot of code without ownership, and there is a lot of junk in the web right now. This is analysis in open source projects. I personally am not an open source project contributor other than Liquid Galaxy, so I don't have the experience to compare both of them. But I can say in a company. You cannot just like throw something shitty in the middle because it's going to be used, and because people make money out of it. Money is the important part in this aspect, I would say.
It's a business, so it's
a business. Yeah.
Okay.
So I hope I answered it well.
Last thing, do you think AI will start making core business decisions or remain a support tool? Is super artificial intelligence being the one handling the business?
I think business people might be prone to give it to AI, which is I'm afraid about. It's not. I'm not talking about Sixt. I'm talking about the entire companies in the world. They might surrender themselves to the domination of AI.
That's Terminator. This is not going to happen soon.
No. Like if they are not engineers, I would be afraid. So I'm afraid that non-technical people will surrender themselves to the supremacy of AI. But it's
not going to happen.
It will be a tool. So
okay, it will be a tool. Fantastic. That's the end. Okay, thank you, Vinayak, for the thanks. So, Deniz, you're not coming back home. I understand. You're staying in München for Christmas.
I'm going to Morocco with my friends.
Yes, I didn't remember. You're going to Morocco. So have a very good time there. It will be a nicer weather than in München.
No, definitely not.
Really not?
It's cold and raining, so I'm going to go with the same clothing.
No, I think you have to do both. You have to be ready for a little more summer and a little bit more. You have to bring both.
Yeah.
Thank you, Deniz. Have a very good time in Morocco and see you after next year starts.
Thank you for inviting me for this talk, and I wish the Google Summer of Code students luck.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, Andrew.
Thank you,
Bye,
everyone
everyone.
in the conversations. Bye-bye.
To the world you can see through panoramic screens. a grand spatial dream. Vision below is just what we mean.